All right, you guys, Ralph Havens here, physical therapist at Beyond Limits Physical Therapy in Bellingham, Washington. And I'm with Dr. Tom Giammatteo, IMT Wellness Center, West Hartford, Connecticut. We both see people over Zoom as well. And Tom has been a longtime teacher, friend, mentor of mine. I just took a great class from him. I think I'm up to about 116 classes since February of 2000. It's the work of being able to find the root causes of things and help people heal up and get over things and get their health and life back. And so thank you, Dr. Tom, for being here. And I just wanted to talk about supplements today because I was talking to you before we got on about how sometimes people bring in a bag of 30 supplements that they've gotten over the years and they don't know what to do. And the idea of like some supplements people think of as we should always take vitamin D3 and or you should always take calcium or magnesium or even fish oil. And so I just want to open it up to you and think of your thoughts on supplements and must have things for every day or cycle through things, or should everything be individualized, and any dangers for getting too much of something, and go from there. So thank you for being here.
Thanks, Ralph. Appreciate you. So the industry of supplementation with a very poor food system, I think, is vital, right? There are some things that the American diet has shown to make us the 48th healthiest country in the world.
48.
48, yeah. And that statistic is healthy, meaning how many deaths are there, how many pregnancies that get aborted, self-abortions, what is our ultimate age limit of, how old do we get to be, sudden child infant disease, and, how many cancers and everything else that happens. We are 48th in the world.
Wow.
We spend 1/8 of our profit making in order to make that happen. So it's a huge industry. But if you really look at the American quote unquote diet, and somebody that eats in the public school system once a week, twice a week, or thinks the aisles in the middle of the grocery store are made for them type of thing, they get their Cocoa Puffs or they get their General Mill cereals, and think they're doing the healthy piece. It's a debilitating piece, right? So we just finished summer school, which was phenomenal, where we had our senior students there. And yesterday,
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, yesterday I had my first new evaluation patient, and she was a 63-year-old woman, and 3 people commented on how old she looked. They asked if she was in her 80s and 90s, and then you get somebody in their 80s and 90s that look like in their 50s. So how much do you invest in your food, your time, and your care along that way to see, how you age through life and things like that? So
And
food
on
and
a side note, I asked Jen, because every time I take an IMT class, she notices that I look younger. So it's like this whole thing.
And that was a surprising thing. We made comments on day 3 that some of our, I have 3 or 4 practitioners in their 70s that train with us, and Kathy from Texas, she looked like she was in her 50s again.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
And so that was just an amazing thing, opening up the inner child work that we did in that whole process. So, but supplements, we are food. We interact with our life and with our process, and we really should eat for the region and the food that surrounds us, right? So if we're in the South, our growing seasons are a little bit different than in the North, and foods should change over time. Right now is good watermelon season and corn season up in New England area. And apple season's coming, at the end of August, September, right? Trying to find the foods that we eat instead of getting the food imported from Chile or Mexico all year round, it's really depleting some of our resources, right? Traveling and teaching around the world. I've been in Russia, I've been in Colombia, and they're considered third world countries in their agricultural abilities, but the vitality of those people that don't have pesticides and fertilizers is much stronger than ours here. So,
Yeah.
right. So supplementation is something that we can do, but we really want to figure out why is our body not getting it. One, is it our choices? Two, is it our digestion? Three, do I have a personal problem with it? Right. And it's usually because we eat crappy food, lots of sugar, a lot of time. We mess up our own digestive system, our own probiotics and prebiotics in our system. Every time we take an antibiotic, we wash that away. And those are the microbes that really eat and we absorb from them too, right? And, I'm not sure when I had or you had a diet soda or
Yeah, it's
anything
been a
out
long
of a
time.
commercial piece, and it really doesn't taste good to us and really, hurts our stomachs and things like that. So, um,
It used to be I would a Diet Coke, and because I had a girlfriend that liked Diet Coke, so I started drinking Diet Cokes and turkey sandwiches, and I was like, it tastes so good. You could do that again.
so, we are lacking good food. So, and that started in 1940s, 1950s, where we started using more fertilizer on our crops instead of naturally making the rotational farming happen, right? There used to be a thing called rotational farming where you'd rest a field and you may grow alfalfa and leave the corn for a year or two, but each plant added something to the ground, added more, minerals, and it would, with the sunlight and its tools, would put minerals back in. And when we went to just making the same crop year after year and just using fertilizers in it,
Yeah.
um, even the word hydroponic, where we think we're getting fresh water when we put chemicals in it, it's still chemicals. It's not nature in there. So yeah. So if you can grow a heritage garden, get some good old seeds and make it in the back and get some good compost, you're going to do better than, the life of the food in what's there half the time. And our
So yeah, and you always talk about food. I try to get you to talk about integrative manual therapy and supplements and other things, and you always start with the food. I noticed that.
so and chewing your food, right? So we have some tools in the IMT supplement department that really help re-regulate that back to normal again and really boost that up. One of them is that GI Regen we've been talking about a lot, and it has three basic plants in it. It's got cranberry, it's got uva ursi, it's got ashwagandha, it's got tribulus, and an enzyme called xylase, which helps break down gluten. But cranberries are like for bladder infections. Uva ursi is a balancer of the gut. Ashwagandha really helps for the adrenals, and tribulus helps kill salmonella, E. coli, and botulism. So, if we go back to culture where they just had food, and you even look at sushi, right? Having a piece of fish, and they have it with ginger, and so the ginger and the soy sauce are anti-parasitic, so it helps kill the bugs if there are any bugs around in it. So
Uh,
mankind has always used certain foods or things to help prepare the gut for helping those pieces out at the same time.
yeah,
So,
I'll put the
vitamin,
link to GI Regen too. I want to talk about that specifically
yeah.
in
And you had asked about how old was that runner, the female runner, I think?
a middle schooler.
Middle
So
schooler. So we have a paradoxical statement in that where the sun is bad and we have to put on sunscreen at the same time. And then we worry about the vitamin D levels being too high or too low in that whole process. Um, but vitamin D is produced from sunshine. You walk outside and your skin gets touched by the sun and you produce vitamin D. And you're supposed to have calcium in the food you eat and things like that too. So truly, if we had a healthy system and we ate the right foods, we'd produce our own vitamin D, right?
Yeah.
But then the era of skin cancers came up, and most of the non-zinc forms of sunscreen are actually cause skin cancer after 2 or 3 hours of applying them. They're
Yeah, we need the
carcinogenic.
zinc every once in a while on a nose, or if we're going to be out
Right.
for the whole day.
Yeah. So I find we have a fantastic thing called calcium lactate, and people don't get sunburned. That or if they do get sunburn, they can use it as a post treatment. So the calcium lactate we have in our office, and calcium can be connected to a lot of different things like magnate, citrate, um, all these different processes. So calcium is a type of salt and needs to be put with a binder. Calcium lactate specifically in the digestive cycle only takes one enzyme to be functional in the body, to be like a calcium that we can use in the bone. Calcium from like you get from Tums and other sources are like stone. It's almost like licking a rock. You're not really going to get anything from it. So my protocol is to, when people are planning out and being on a sunny day, they will take 2 or 3 calcium lactates before they walk outside, and every hour they take another calcium lactate to replete the calcium that they need in their whole system. Okay, and they walk out with a great tan, and the burning is minimal. So in the nutrition I teach, it is how do you, Ralph, how do you get a sunburn?
Stay
What
out in the sun
causes,
too long.
huh?
Stay out in the sun too long.
Okay. So the sun activates our skin, right? The ultraviolet lights, and in physical therapy school, we played with ultraviolet lights and stuff like that. The ultraviolet rays come down and stimulate the vitamin D just under the skin. And vitamin D actually brings up the melatonin and gives us a better tan. But if we don't have enough calcium in our bloodstream, we activate our vitamin D. The vitamin D makes us need more calcium. It wants to put it to the bone. So the body is screaming, I don't have enough calcium. So where are we going to get calcium? Well, every single cell has a little bit of calcium in it. It's like little crystals or sparkles in the wall. And the body goes, well, we could take a few sparkles out of here. We could take a few sparkles out of here. And then the cell blows up. So if we really look at the microscopic reason why we have sunburn, it's like all the cells blow up and you get hot.
That's
But
insane.
if we gave the calcium, they actually repair themselves and they get better.
That's so interesting.
So I see in a biochemical physiological way that the calcium gets pulled out of the cell membrane and causes a rupture of the cell, and that's what a sunburn is, times 1,000 little cells. So if
Yeah.
you feed it the calcium, everybody gets their calcium back. The sunburn goes away and the melatonin shines up, and you get a nice tan at the end of the day.
And then you make vitamin D, it sounds like.
Right, and the vitamin D is produced, and the vitamin D is wonderful for the body. And if we go back and look at cultures before we had internet, before we even had the light bulb, you were either going out in the sunshine and seeing things, or you're stuck in a black hole, right? Since the invention of lights and since the invention of fluorescent lights, we're really not getting a source of lighting, and we're staying in darker lights, right? And even our eyes get affected because we're not in full sunlight at the same time, right? So
And
all
so
those,
Pacific Northwest people, like
yeah,
we get a lot of cloudy days. We get
right,
some sunny days.
right. But if and some people have vitamin D deficiencies and others don't, but the people outside more won't get that, right?
Oh, it's going to be a
So
runner.
and there are techniques. One of them by Dr. Bates is called sunning, where when you see an open blue sky, you go out and you look up into it and you get the sun, the extra radiate on your face for 5 to 10 minutes. And the sun even going through closed eyelids actually stimulates the pituitary and makes seasonal affective disorder not go away
Oh,
sometimes.
that's so wonderful. Yeah, because we do get blue skies. Yeah, it's like they think of the Pacific Northwest as always cloudy, but we get those days and patches of blue, even in the darkest parts.
Unfortunately, in New England, we're in the path of the Canadian fires, so it's been cloudy and overcast
Oh, no.
here this last week, and our air quality levels have been atrocious.
So you stay inside.
Oh, that's another reason to, that we're dwindling in those pieces. So
Yeah. And so should people take vitamin D or if they, what's your
I
thoughts
I
on,
truly believe 90% of the population is deficient in sunshine, so they need the vitamin D as a substitute. But sunshine does so many other things for the body at the same time, right?
Yeah. So first step is make sure you find a way to get some sun. So I'm going to even increase that more. We do go outside quite a bit, but um, you do feel so much better. But if you so but you could supplement. And is there any danger in doing too much vitamin D, or do you need it with the K2, or what's the story?
Well, um, vitamin D is produced by the skin, and there's 3 or 4 forms of vitamin D, and then there's this K2 that just got discovered. But Royal Lee was a nutritionist in the 1800s, and he founded the standard process. And he actually called that cataplex or vitamin F back then, but they renamed it vitamin K now. And what the vitamin D does is take the calcium and brings it towards the bone and helps as an antioxidant. Vitamin K assists the GI system to bring the calcium from the gut into the bloodstream.
Oh,
So if you don't get it into the bloodstream, it's kind of worthless, right? So there's another misnomer that milk is a really good source of calcium.
yeah.
Um, Raw milk is an excellent source of absorbable, uh, available calcium for the body to use. But during our pasteurization and during our homogenization of milk nowadays, we make the milk turn to stone and it's unavailable to us. But
So
raw
yeah,
milk is excellent.
and we like to get people on kefir, like raw
Yeah,
milk that's fermented with the kefir sprouts or grains. So would that solve the
that
vitamin
helps a little
D?
bit better. Yeah. So that is, and the human stomach can only absorb 400 grams of calcium at a time.
Hmm.
And the people that have bone loss, and they called osteoporosis and osteopenia by the World Health Organization, should be absorbing 2,000 grams a day, but the
Hmm.
stomach only gets 400 at a time. So either you have to, and when they give a supplement pill in the elderly population, they're giving 1,000, 2,000 milligram pills, but it's not absorbed because it's the wrong calcium or the guts aren't really there to do that. The really best source of calcium is dark green leafy vegetables. The more the bitter, the better it is. Spinach is
That
one of
sounds
them.
easy.
Kale is another. And I really like my calcium lactate. And people go, well, there's only 50 milligrams of calcium in the tablet, but it's 50 milligrams that's going to get into your bloodstream.
Yeah, I
Not,
noticed that.
it's not 2,000 sucking on a rock, basically.
So interesting. And so green leafy bitter vegetables, the sunshine, getting raw milk or kefir would be a great way to do it too.
Yep.
Would be great. And then supplement wise, some calcium lactate and
Mhm.
not really adding in a D3 K2 supplement or
Well, our vitamin D has 30% of what you need per tablet of vitamin D and vitamin K in it also.
so that'd be useful. It sounds like.
Taking 3 tablets of calcium lactate gives you 150 milligrams of calcium, 75 milligrams of magnesium, and your daily allowance of vitamin D and vitamin K. All,
Oh, so the calcium lactate is the D3 K2 supplement
yeah.
and 3 tablets a day. Well, that's
So going and measuring vitamin D in a standard blood test, the
yeah.
variables go from 30 to 100. And most doctors are happy when you get 30 to 35. In my world, I'd like to see 60 to 70 units of
70.
vitamin D in your bloodstream.
And is there any harm in having more than that?
Um, I've had people at 200, and that's still okay.
Okay.
But there's no true contraindications of having high vitamin D,
Okay.
because it's a water soluble vitamin. It goes out the body very quickly.
So basically calcium lactate from the IMT Wellness gives you just the perfect amount of D3, K2. And
Yeah.
and even if you're in the sun a lot, it's still safe to take that, you think?
I'd say you need to double it. So every hour you take another
Oh, that's
1 or
right.
2 tablet pills. And it's been proven. So if women are having premenstrual syndrome and cramps that knock them out, or don't even knock them out, that they have, then that's an old school wisdom, is they're not getting enough calcium. And so by giving them the calcium lactate um, a day, I usually have like a 12-year-old up, if they're having really bad cramps, you can actually have them and put the calcium lactate on their tongue, and they taste it. It's kind of bitter, but within 5 minutes, the cramps stop.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
Got
so women's PMS cramping is a good 80% due to lack of calcium, enough calcium to be able to hold their menses and the uterus. So, when the uterus is clearing during menstruation, the muscle walls are kind of sensitive, and calcium lactate will actually calm them down. So the cramps they just disappear. And usually takes me 2 to 3 months with a new woman coming in for PMS and menstrual cramping to figure out how much calcium they need. And usually they're so depleted, we give them, the first 3 or 4 months, we give them a lot more. And then as they notice that they're not cramping during menstruation, we back it off to a maintenance dose, because their environment's not supplying the calcium that they need. Remember, I said dark green leafy
Yeah.
vegetables, and drinking 1%, 2% milk is actually depleting your calcium in your body, believe it or not.
Okay. So it sounds like the calcium lactate is like a super
The
supplement.
superfood, it's a super nutrient, and you're asked, do we need to take a break? I
Yeah.
have people take at least a 1 month vacation of some of their supplements, just to have them work with their bodies to try to get their food. A lot of people, they take it every day, their body actually gets lazier.
Okay, so take a month off every so often and just
Yeah.
make sure you're having a lot of green leafy vegetables and good food and
So after people feel better, like 2 to 3 months into it, I'll just say, okay, every time you finish the bottle, you don't take that for 2 to 4 weeks, just to take
okay,
a break from it.
nice. And so we got that and there's no need to worry about overdosing or getting too much D3 or having high levels of D3 on your tests or anything like that.
I wouldn't recommend, if you have a higher level, I'd back off of taking supplemental vitamin D, right?
Yeah.
I have never pushed it with somebody I don't know the symptoms of excess vitamin D. I haven't seen them in my practice.
Okay, and these days I've heard, I haven't ever tried it myself, but I heard you can just go get a lab test yourself from LabCorp or
Yeah.
something, and so just
You,
look at D3 levels.
yep, you can go in and look at your vitamin D. You can see what your B12 levels are. They have these health packages now at some laboratories, depending on your state, that you could just walk in and have some of that done.
And so things you would like to see be D3 and B12 and anything else?
I always like to see a thing called CRP, or C-reactive protein, because
Yeah,
that tells me the inflammation level in their body.
okay. And does that have to do with that? You talked about it before, I forgot how you called it, you call them like little lockers that if you eat too much sugar, your
Well, that's called your A1C.
A1Cs. Is that a test as well or no?
Well, blood sugar and A1C should go hand in hand.
Okay, blood sugar.
Um, when they look at, and blood sugar should be you fast.
Okay, so check the
When-
blood sugar, check the CRP, the B12, the D3,
Yep.
and then and get in the sun, green leafy vegetables, calcium lactate, and then the GI Regen is that supplement that you did your research on, Tribulus, one of the
Yes.
ingredients in it. Um, how does that fit in general for people, or is that just to get them well, and or just when some certain? Tell us about GI Regen.
So GI Regen has a number of tools to it. And the first one is to re-regulate your GI system so you can start to absorb. Because our food systems are so terrible, I recommend after the initial 3 to 4 months of taking it and you start to feel better, I still recommend once or twice a week taking GI Regen just to help balance off the microbes. Or if you know that you're going to be around polluted food, taking some extra then. And
Okay.
even events of like if you're going swimming in a pool or a lake, you're actually taking bad bacteria in your body, so it would help then also.
So 3 to 4 months of like twice in general, anyone
Twice a day, yeah.
pounds, it's twice a day thing. Okay. And that sounds really good. So those are the two key supplements, it sounds like calcium lactate, 3 a day, more if you're
Really,
so on.
you wouldn't be bad if that's a nice little health module to do.
Nicely, awesome. And so so we got the D3 figured out with the calcium lactate. We got the gut healing with I like it
You
with
know, when in my world and practicing, when a number is high or low, we don't blame the supplement. We ask why
yeah.
is it normal, right?
And
And
that's the whole integrated manual therapy piece. Like there is a hands-on process to find and help heal up the bodies using hands-on techniques that you've taught me over the years. Said 25 years now since I've known you. And and so we got and you've talked about red beets. We love eating red beets and drinking beet kvass. Um, and then the kefir and fish.
and again, the biggest thing is get off the poisons that I call
Yeah,
poison.
yeah, and we talk about that, like, yeah, if you haven't heard about that, gluten, oats, peanuts and almond free, and reach out to us and we can give you more about that. That's a whole discussion, but that's like a for sure. If you want to heal the body up, you got to get off of that stuff for some reason. You know, we got all those sorts of things around that. So that's that. And you can talk about that more if you like. And red beets is something that we talked about before as well. Fish oil, need for fish oil, iodine, vitamin C. Or do you need those things?
Um, when the person's absorbing better, you need less of them. But we're always depleted in good oils also. So we have a salmon oil that we carry in our line. That's amazing. Before that, all the like the general fish oil. If your liver's not healthy, it's going to be hard to. These are the people that try to take a fish oil pill and they taste burps.
Yeah,
It's probably that they don't have enough liver support to be able to break that down. So
get the liver happy.
excuse me.
Yeah, and we have techniques in IMT to get the liver happy to help that.
Right. And uh, they when you absorb fish oils, it's great for the skin. It helps the nervous system, especially if you're on a statin. You know, the downside to fish oil, which was more stimulated by the pharmaceutical companies than anybody else, was to say, too much can cause bleeding.
Yeah,
But you have to be like drinking a cup of fish oil a day to do that. Right?
and you don't want to really overdose on that because it's like inflammation is somewhat useful, right? Like you don't want to just take so much fish oil, you take a ton of inflammation down.
No, I really believe that it that having good omegas in your body And again, it's going back to the food source. Back in 1910, when farmers were making their own food and you're cutting down your tomatoes and putting them in, you have a 1 omega-3 to 1 omega-6, which is the inflammatory one. Today, most people are barely getting 1 omega-3 to 50 omega-6s in their diet. So taking the supplement brings it really back in
So a
more
little bit of fish
neutral.
oil is useful. And
Yeah.
iodine and vitamin C.
Um,
I'm getting all the information I can from you.
Iodine, I love, and there's a little simple test you can do. And it's harder and harder to find if you go to the drugstore and you find mercurochrome iodine. It used to be painting it on our cuts and our
Yeah, I've got
processing
some of
it,
that. Yeah.
right? But if you paint a quarter size on your wrist or a quarter size on your hip, that iodine should stay for 24 hours. If it goes away in an hour, that means we really need more iodine in our system.
So that's a good way to get a little iodine.
And that's also a way to treat yourself, is to paint maybe a bigger size circle daily, and you'll start to feel energy afterwards. We are also iodine depleted. I'm not too keen on the vitamin C kicks.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, there's a difference between natural vitamin C and synthetic vitamin C.
And
Um,
fish and sauerkraut and
have good vitamin C in it. So eat the whole food and you're getting everything.
sauerkraut. So, well, this has been awesome, Tom. I'm going to post this and share it everywhere. I'm going to send it to the IMT Facebook group too, because this, I've been studying with you for a long time, and this has been, even for me, a really, really good overview and strategy plan to get things going. It's so interesting about the calcium lactate. So the ideas of taking magnesium, one last thing, magnesium citrate, some people swear by it, like for all sorts of reasons, from
Yeah.
over constipation and just feeling really good and loose. Any reason to take anything else besides the calcium lactate as far as the magnesium part of this thing?
We carry some extra magnesiums, and we have actually a three-source magnesium, because depending on how the magnesium salts are, some's good for the nervous system, some's good for the bowel, some's good for brain health too.
Yeah.
So we have a tri-magnesium called magnesium powder.
Okay, well, that's cool. I will put links in everywhere in the Facebook and then YouTube and Spotify. So reach out and then, yeah, if you want to talk to Tom, do you still do like little consults over Zoom with?
Yep, just call the office and we schedule a 15-minute. You tell me your story, what you want to do, and I'll be happy to guide you and show you how to use the webpage nutrition store, or
Yeah,
if you have something more complicated, we help many different types of people, from wheelchair bound to neurologically challenged, from traumatic brain injury to cerebral palsy and everything in between,
you sure
maybe
do.
fertility issues and stuff. So
You've helped me and my family for all these years. So the number is 860-561-2286 in West Hartford, Connecticut. And
yep.
the website is imtwellnesscenter.com. And again, I'll put all those links in there. I've got one link, ralphhavens.com/GI Regen, that goes straight to our link to the one supplement, the GI Regen. But I'll put a bunch of links everywhere. This has been really good, Tom. I'm going to share this with all my clients because it's one of the things that, yeah, it's just so needed. It's so clear, and it can be so confusing because so many practitioners have different people on so many different things, and everybody's trying stuff, and you read stuff, and then you hear about you doing too much of the supplement and it's dangerous. And so thank you very much for this, and thank you for the class this week.
Yeah, and just the last piece of that is, how do we know? We go back to our Chinese roots of pulse diagnosis, where we take different samples of different supplements, and we actually see how the body's that person's reaction is to it.
And
right?
I think maybe next podcast we'll talk about this motility testing, this pulse diagnosis. Baden can test foods. He's 8 years old. And he tells me, I sometimes consult him like, Aiden, what does this one do? And he goes, well, it goes up, but it's also part of it goes down. And I'm like, he's incredible. So,
Yeah.
so my 8-year-old son has learned how to test foods and supplements and see what's useful.
The power is in the touch or the palpation. If we can teach you how to do that, then you don't have to worry. You can always check it out yourself.
You can go to the 10 different olive oils and see which one is good.
The best one, right? For you
Yeah.
at that time.
Well, thank you, Tom. I know we're at the top of the hour. Thank you so much. And I will
Okay, Ralph.
these links. Okay. All right, you guys, reach out to us. My number's 360-599-2217 in Bellingham. And again, Tom's number is 860-561-2286. And look for the links. Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much.
Bye, Ralph. Have a good day.
Bye.